At least we got something good out of the worst WWE draft of all time. I mean, CM Punk made his return. It's crazy how two injured WWE superstars are the best thing going on in the WWE right now. I don't think I'm exaggerating, am I? I've seen the superstar shakeup. I've seen every single WWE draft. But this was the absolute worst. You see, people, no matter how bad the draft always got, at least we got the bare minimum, which is change. You know, the presentation always sucked, but at least we got that change. And people, don't you dare say that this sucked. I've seen some people saying that the randomized WWE draft was bad. I know it didn't make sense. It was stupid. It was dumb. Let the computer decide our WWE product. But it was entertaining. And like I've said, at least we used to get the bare minimum, which is change. And this was a draft for the sake of a rating pop. And we got a couple of mid-card talent drafted. It didn't need to be this whole thing. It really didn't. I feel like the concept of everybody being a free agent absolutely sucks. That's how you end up with a draft like this. I can't believe I'm saying the superstar shakeup was better. I mean, we did get a few cool surprises. Also, Dijak got drafted to Monday Night Raw. Like 30 minutes ago, he followed me on Twitter. And now he's my favorite wrestler. And I'm going to put him over in my videos every time I see him. Better than the WWE ever could. Now he's a friend of the channel, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't even know who I am, probably. But now he's a friend of the channel. No joke, he was one of the best things about NXT. See? I'm doing it already. I don't think this was necessarily a very bad show, but it's one of these rare cases where I don't have a lot to say if I'm being honest. So this video is not gonna be very long, but I really wanted to be here talking to you guys here in my office, talking to a camera. But you get the idea. I wanna give you my thoughts. Read the comments. But people, let's talk about Raw. Logan Paul keeps bringing in people to WWE, and it seems like he's vibing with the Judgment Day. That was kinda out of nowhere. How did that happen? I was disappointed though. I felt like the reason Logan Paul is going to be on Raw is because he's going to wrestle at Backlash, and that's simply not the case. It's crazy how they showed Night 1 results, and it's pretty much the exact same roster. Spoiler alert. It stays that way. The opening segment gave you all the answers you needed why Liv Morgan did not win the championship. So we got this segment between Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, Nia Jax, who's actually going to SmackDown. And Liv Morgan made a point about how she's not gonna stop, the revenge tour continues, and she's going to become the Women's World Champion. Nia Jax says she should be a champion. Morgan attacks Nia Jax, and we set up a match between Nia Jax and Liv Morgan. You know, people, I'm not a guru. I'm not a good wrestling mind. Far from it. I'm just a fan. You know, I'm just a fan. Sometimes you just gotta listen to your boy. Sometimes from time to time. 10% of the time, you gotta listen to your boy. I told you, this is going to benefit Liv Morgan. Instead of winning a pointless battle royal, which sucks, obviously, she's going to build her character, slowly turning heel, beating Becky for the first time and taking the championship. It's great for Liv Morgan. We see Stephanie McMahon. Imperium stays on Raw. Couldn't even do that. You know, someone who needs a fresh start. Couldn't even draft Gunther to SmackDown. Really? God, I hate the way I said it. Jade stays on SmackDown. Okay, look now. I get it. You wanna treat her like a big deal. Drafting Jade in the first round, first ever pick for SmackDown, and drafting Drew McIntyre in the 3rd or 4th round. Logic not found right here. I get what you're trying to do, but none of it made any sense. Former WWE Champion, World Heavyweight Champion, or someone who wrestled one match. That is a very tough choice. Damage Control is going to Raw. That is great. And Kevin Owens stays on SmackDown. Good, because of Randy. If you didn't see the show and you're here for the review because you didn't see the show, I'm gonna give it to you right now. Barely any changes. We saw Gunther versus Xavier Woods, which is just kinda pointless anyway at this point. Who really cares? We did see something cool. You know, Gunther had Xavier in his submission. Kofi wanted to throw a towel, but Xavier insisted him not to. But Gunther switched it up and he tapped out anyway. The Ring General wins the match. The Ring General. Can't do that. People pointed out that Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan came out of the same locker room. Liv Morgan stealing Dominic is just amazing story. Logan Paul and Speed announced more draft picks. CM Punk stays on Raw. Obviously, we didn't even see anything from Punk yet when it comes to, in-ring competition and shit. The Bride stays on SmackDown. I don't know about that, but since the Final Testament are going to Raw, I'm fine with it, I guess. Braun is drafted to Raw, who we actually saw on the show, and hopefully something interesting is going to happen with Braun. At one point in my YouTube career, I really disliked Braun Strowman because of he always had some shitty takes, man. He can be pretty cringe on social media. But he seems like a nice dude, Tiffany stays on SmackDown. I think she's coming for that championship. Then, of course, Logan Paul talked some shit. He's a great heel. It's crazy how good he is at promos, and he's not even like a pro wrestler. Like, really. He talks about Jey Uso. Talked about how he's not gonna become the world champion. My man is making a predictions video. The Judgment Day attack Jey Uso. That's a nice change from Brass Knuckles. But unfortunately, it backfired. We see the returning Braun Strowman and Braun Choo-choo saves the day. I used to love trains a lot. Guess what? I still love them. R-Truth basically gave Chad Gable's team an opportunity for the World Tag Team Championships because it's R-Truth. Hello, a kick out of nowhere to Chad Gable. I was like, okay, tell me this is still going somewhere and not just WWE being like, yeah, that doesn't work, fuck that shit. He kicks the shit out of Chad and we never hear about this rivalry ever again. That's not the case, thankfully, though. Booker talked about the draft. We see Drew McIntyre. And since Booker talked about CM Punk, Drew says, you're a hypocrite. I know you don't like CM Punk, so I'm not sure why you're acting this way. Man, CM Punk is in Drew's head rent-free. Big Bronson Reed versus Sami Zayn. Pretty decent match. So far, loving this championship title reign from Sami Zayn. He got attacked by Chad Gable. Chad Gable was like, we're teammates. No, we're not. Big Bronson Reed stands tall. Let's be fair, he's third wheeling this rivalry, but like I've said, at least everybody has something going on in the WWE. We see the APA, LWO drafted to Raw with Carlito. Oh my god, thankfully, LWO and Legado del Fantasma are no longer on the same brand. Legado del Fantasma are going to SmackDown. Drew McIntyre stays on Raw. Finally, somebody picked Drew McIntyre. Shinsuke is going to SmackDown and people booed. I felt like people wanted Shinsuke on NXT, like all of us, probably most of us. I don't see anything. Come on. Then we see Drew McIntyre and he complains about the draft. Really not in the first round. Everybody's losing their minds. He blames CM Punk for the injury, but unlike CM Punk, even while injured, he's at work. We hear CM Punk's theme song, but CM Punk is up there in the rafters. Oh my god, he brought back the shirt. Oh my god, this is so cool. I popped so hard. That was the best thing about the show. CM Punk bringing back glories. One of my favorite t-shirts in pro wrestling, one of the only shirts I actually bought. Sheamus sees a lot of himself in Bronson Reed as he sees Drew McIntyre searching for CM Punk. So Drew came to the spot where Punk was and only found this. CM Punk goes to the ring and this shit is just so good, man. Punk wants to keep it as brief as Drew McIntyre's title reign. Time it, Pat McAfee. And Drew wasn't even talking, it was just Punk spitting. He's the best at everything, pipe bomb reference. It's kinda ironic how Drew McIntyre prayed for it and it happened, but losers pray for things to happen. He's a winner and he makes things happen. And the whole point of this promo was, once he's medically cleared, he will make McIntyre's life a living hell. Oh my god, I can't wait for this shit. This is so good. This is the best thing going on in the WWE right now. Seriously. People, I don't know if it's Clash at the Castle. I would do this. Clash at the Castle, Drew McIntyre wins the championship against Damian Priest. Damian Priest, great talent. Not seeing this going any further than that, honestly. And then we get SummerSlam. Punk, Drew, World Championship. Book this shit, brother. Book this shit. Teddy Long and Alundra Blaze announced more draft picks. Judgment Day stay on Raw. Naomi stays on SmackDown. Ilya is going to Raw. Chelsea and Piper drafted to SmackDown. So Ilya being on Raw is great because we got Gunther on the same brand. That's gonna be good. So Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax, and like I told you, there's a bigger story, ladies and gentlemen. Nia Jax was on a roll, and look, Liv Morgan actually beat her. I know we got some interferences and shit, but she won the match. Calm the fuck down, people. She's gonna take that championship. Sometimes you gotta think with your mind and not your heart. That sounded cringe. We got the Dudleys again. New Day stays on Raw. Pretty Deadly stays on SmackDown. LeRae is drafted to Raw. Candice and Indy Hartwell drafted to SmackDown. Now look, people. Nothing against the talent. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell got drafted before a lot of big names. and it's like, I get it. Not trying to be mean in any shape or form. But DIY, Indy Hartwell, and Candice doesn't make any goddamn sense, but at this point, well, come on. So we got the Tag Team Championship match. Of course, Alpha Academy couldn't do it. So far, so good. Enjoying Awesome Truth's championship title reign, because I like that they are goofy in segments, but in the ring, it's just business as usual. Pretty good tease of Damage Control versus Becky. More draft picks, finally the way it should be. Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis, couldn't you do that during the entire show? Where it actually matters, makes sense. Them doing it on the spot. I miss this shit. You know, I wish it was like Daniel Bryan and Mick Foley in 2016, or I believe it was Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff in 2000, whatever it was, 5 maybe, 6, I don't know. That's what I miss. That's what I miss. That's what I want from my draft. Final Testament drafted to Raw. Longer show, probably going to benefit them. DIY to SmackDown, that's a good change. Bronson Reed stays on Raw. And this was the last televised draft pick. I'm not sure how valuable these picks are. Are they ready? Are they not? I have no idea, so I'm not gonna give you my thoughts. But the superstars that got drafted from NXT seemed really happy, and these moments are kinda cool. So in the main event, we got the 6-man tag team match. Back to the basics, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the goddamn basics. It's fine, you know, it's fine, but I can't act like I give a shit. This was just a house show type of shit. The babyface team won. Obviously, Damien is pissed again. And this is the match we're getting at Backlash. Not bad, just nothing really, you know, worth talking about when it comes to that match. But yeah, the draft, I don't know, maybe it's because it was Triple H. I expected a lot more. This sucked. It really did. It really did. Maybe it was too early for the draft if you're not gonna change anything up. What we got when it comes to change didn't even need to be televised, honestly. We didn't get enough change for it to be this big deal. We're going to be watching the same show pretty much. Literally. We're going to be watching the same show. And these are the non-televised draft picks that we got after the show. Really interested in what Apollo Crews is going to do. Giovanni Vinci, I said he doesn't have a lot of personality, completely forgetting the fact that he had a gimmick in NXT and it was really entertaining. Now after watching it, I know it's entertaining. Sorry about that. Also, Dijak on Raw. That's gonna be great. Really interested in that. You know, he was one of the most fun parts about NXT. Also, New Catch Republic on Raw. That's a pretty nice change. That is definitely a pretty nice change. And probably people who are going to beat Awesome Truth for the championship. So that was your draft. I said this is going to be a short video. It's probably over 10 minutes already. You know, just 10 minutes of ya boy complaining and bitching about a wrestling show. That's what you came for. Subscribe if you already didn't. Like this video if you already didn't. I don't know, why wouldn't you? Great one. Peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.